What's going on, everybody? It's on the East Coast time. It's late. It's like 12:19, and I know tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day. Today's, whenever you're seeing this video, it was recorded January 14th. Well, actually, technically 15th at 12:20 now AM. And I titled this because I've always been a fan of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I was in a training recently where over the past couple of years where I feel like I really started to resonate with his energy and his spirit in a way that I never have before. And last year I was a weekend coordinator for a Mankind Project New Warrior Weekend in October, and the theme of it was from Dr. King's last book called Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. And when I started reading this even before the weekend, I just was really fascinated. Hey, Christine, what's going on? I was reading, happy to hear you're feeling better. That's awesome. I was reading more about Dr. King before the weekend, and even today I just really felt like picking up this book and reading more about him and really resonating with the holiday that's about to come upon us, because I feel like a lot of shift is going to happen for us on that day and in this month. So I just wanted to share something that I feel that for all of us that we can well, for me anyway, I'm going to speak for myself. I feel like when I read this, I felt that there was something that I could do to really resonate and bring that spirit of MLK within me. And when I started to go with that intention, I opened up the book and I started to see these areas where the King, they talked about in the foreword of this book, they talked about Martin Luther King. He kept referencing in the book to this King. And what I thought was really interesting was that he felt that the Martin Luther King that we resonate so much and we see the pictures of so often, there was a different King towards the latter end towards the end of his life, towards the last years, because he recognized that there was a different type of struggle that was upon our nation. And I just felt that really resonated with me when I started reading with it. I got to pit my stomach, because I find like in this country and in our system of things, when people start to find the truth out about that we need to be one, that they somehow vanish in different ways, whether it's one as a people, one as like how we take care of ourselves, like they vanish. And for King, when I was reading this, I thought it was really interesting because King mentioned in this book, he says, so far we have had conditional backing for most of our demands for change, and this has made our work easier since we could be sure of legal support from the federal courts because of the Constitution. He said, we have left the realm of constitutional rights and are entering the area of human rights. The Constitution assured the right to vote, but there is no assurance of the right to adequate housing or the right to adequate income. He goes on to talk about how even in that point in the country's gross national product and what they were making, that there should have been a right for people to be able to have adequate housing and be able to provide for themselves. And I felt that was poignant because right now in this time, like it seems like there's like this shift that's starting to occur and happen, where there's the have and the have-nots. And it feels like Dr. King towards the end saw that this was happening, and he was like, this is craziness. And he said, the person that wrote the foreword mentioned that, King towards the end of his years recognized that there were three major evils, or he called the triple evils of racism, materialism, and militarism. And I thought that it was really interesting because, like, man, this dude saw something different. And the thing that I feel like could resonate within me that I saw was really juicy, and I wanted to share with us, especially as we go into Martin Luther King Day. He said, let us not think of our movement as one that seeks to integrate the Negro into all of the existing values of human society. Pause for a second. AKA things like multiculturalism, all these things to integrate races. He said, instead, he urged, let us be the creative dissenters, which means renegades or rebels, who will call our beloved nation to a higher destiny, to a new plateau of compassion, to a more noble expression of humanness. Even up to recently, when I met with a former boss of mine, he talked about this year being the year of humanity. And the person that wrote the foreword, and this was actually Coretta Scott King wrote the foreword. Haha, she would know. She said that towards the end, King was, he had this higher destiny. He started to sync with James Baldwin's urge and call to realize ourselves as America's family with many rich varieties. And even that he was in line with the poet June Jordan, who said, "We are the ones we've been waiting for." And that, I just thought it was really relevant because, I remember one of my sensei Victoria, when I was going through Reiki and I was going through my some struggles going through a separation divorce, she talked about, like, man, in a journey or vision, she saw a lot of MLK and the anger that he had, and the anger that related to the anger that I have with the injustice that's being seen. And I thought that Martin Luther King had anger. Yes, he did, because he saw a lot of injustice and he wanted to find ways to really help those that weren't as fortunate. And it's really a blessing for us to really be able to appreciate this. But what the whole relevance is of this at this time, and why I'm going this way, is I want us to, as you enter into going into MLK Day. Yo, man, what's going on, man? As you enter into MLK Day, one of the things that I'm stepping into, that Dr. King stepped into on a regular basis, was being comfortable with this discomfort. Like this man, let me show you a picture. Like this man right here, this picture, look at this picture for a second. This picture was taken several hours before Martin Luther King was assassinated. Look at the weight on this man. Look at the weight on this man. He knew it was coming, but you know what? He was in that discomfort. He wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to stop. And that's the thing that we start to get in our society. My view is that we get domesticated into settling into things rather than stepping into discomfort. So for me, like, my journey into being MLK, or a version of MLK, or an expression of MLK's energy and consciousness, is to be comfortable in my discomfort. So tomorrow I'm going to do something that's uncomfortable. I'm going to take a cold shower for 60 seconds. I hate the cold, but it's a symbolism of, and it's not like, oh, I'm going to save the world. But for me, it's one step towards being in that discomfort that could be the person that helps me settle into the person that I've been waiting for. The person that can help shift things with a bunch of others, which could be you. So with that said, I'm going to sign off. I'm staying away from social media tomorrow because I just want to resonate and just reflect on this man's energy and blessings for his presence in our lifetime and in our history, as well as others that have stepped into their discomfort to have a new change and a new paradigm. Those rebels, those renegades, those creative dissenters. If you're one of those, stand up, man. Stand up. Be in discomfort tomorrow. Be in that shit. Be in it. And with that, I'm signing off. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the lifetime. And until next time.